Hello and welcome back. Now in this video we are going to create one method inside this Elasticsearch. Now I decided to add it here. I could have just probably moved it to the search service, which we are going to create later, but since it's just related to Elasticsearch right here, I can add it here as well. Okay, maybe later we can decide to move it out. So the function would just be used to get a particular gig by its ID. Okay, so here async function, and I'll call this get document by ID. Okay, and here I'll pass the name of the index, and then I'll pass the index ID. In this case I'll call this gig ID. Okay, and it's going to be of type string. Now for this, since the data we have that I've added, at least here, as you can see, the data I've added, I don't have an interface for it. Okay, I will just probably, I'm not going to add a return type here. Okay, so but once we set up the methods to add the actual gigs that we expect it to have, then we can update it. Okay, for now I will just add it without adding any return type. Okay, so here I will use a try catch. Okay, so that's in case there's an error. Here, if there's an error, we say auth service Elasticsearch get document by ID method error, and then here I can say return. I will just return an empty string. Okay, if there's an error, we return an empty string. Now, how do we get the get a particular data by the gig ID? So I'll say const result. Now this result, the return type will be get response. Okay, so get response. This is from Elasticsearch client. Okay, and then it's going to be await Elasticsearch client dot get. Now let's go back to this part. Here, this is how the results returned would look like. Okay, what we actually need, I think, is the source. Okay, I think it's the source, because it's going to return only one document. It's not returning a list. If it's returning a list, okay, we are going to it's going to be inside this hits array, but we want to return only one document, and the document will have this key called underscore source. Okay, so here I'll pass in the index. Okay, so the name of the index and the ID, so ID gig ID. Okay, now here we are going to return results dot. Now you can see the different properties that you can you have access to, and what we need is the source. Okay, let's quickly just export this right here. Okay, later we are going to update it to add the actual return type that we're expecting. Okay, so here, once we get the response, the data that we want is going to be inside this source property. Okay, and then we return the source. So let's go to services. I'm going to create a new file. Okay, so I'll call the file search.service.ts. Okay, so this is where we are going to create our search service. And now the first method I want to add, I'll say export async gig by ID. Okay, export async function. Okay, gig by ID, and I'll pass the index name of type string, and then the gig ID of type string. I will not add any return type at this point in time. Okay, but we're going to add it later. Now remember, I said we could just easily do everything we are doing right here. I could just do it here, it's still fine. Okay, so here, in order for us to use it, I will just call const gig equal to await, and then I'll pass in gig, Okay, let me import this, and this will take index and then gig ID right here. Okay, and then we return gig. Okay, so this is just all we need to do, okay, in order for us to search for a particular gig. So if the user is on the index page or not yet logged in, and then they search for gigs, and then they want to read more information about a particular gig, they click on it. We are going to call this method that will return the information related to that particular gig. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to stop here. In the next video, we're going to add the gig search method.